he has everything, right? He has the MVP. He has the scoring titles. He's arguably one of the best offensive scorers of all time. Um, he he's made a ton of money, well over $200 million as far as just NBA money. That's not including endorsements and stuff like that. So he has the money. I thought maybe it's time James Harden looked at it and was like, man, do I want to fall into that category with Charles Barkley? Do I want to fall into that category with Melo? Do I want to fall into that category with AI? These guys are great competitors, great players, great scorers that never made it. They don't get the recognition or the talk about because they don't have that chip.
Right.
And it's sad to see. It's sad to see. Kind of getting off topic here, but we're gonna have to talk about Melo one day because, like, I feel bad for Melo, man. Melo was a monster in this league. But to kind of stay on topic here, I thought James Harden was falling into that category there of those players. But then I looked at it, right? I actually looked at his contract. It's actually a player option. So he took this year, he gets his money guaranteed, and next year he could decide if, hey, you know what, this ain't gonna work out. I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna go here. I look at the players that they bring in. They bring in a D'Anthony Melton. They brought in Daniel House, and they brought in some guy named Queen. Those guys aren't team movers, right? But also look at their starting lineup, and they actually got a very good starting lineup. Tyrese Maxey coming off a really good rookie season, averaging 17 points a game, which is great. You got James at the point, so he'll be able to learn from James Harden. You then got Thibault, who's a very, very good defensive player. And then you still got Tobias, who is he's a guy you could count on, right? He's that solid starter where you're like, you know what, Tobias is out there, we should still be okay because he could score. He's that guy you could count on. And then you got the dominant big man in Embiid, who I think will be the MVP of the NBA this year, and I think Harden will help him get there. So overall, I think it's about control, player control. He can control his future, and he can kind of fulfill where he wants to go next, right? If it doesn't work here, I can leave. I can go anywhere I want now. Now they won't say, oh, James Harden wanted to get out of Houston. Get me out of here. He wanted to get out of Brooklyn. Get me out of here. Nope. It's my time to leave. He's on his LeBron James, where LeBron only leaves when it's time for him to leave, instead of being that villain where he's like a kind of like a KD, where like these guys are forcing their way out of teams after signing long-term deals. So I think it's really about control at this point, a little bit more. It may be that championship pedigree he's looking for, but they really didn't bring in any guys that I can say, oh man, these guys, they're gonna win it.
Right.
What you think?
I feel like it. I definitely agree. It's a beautiful move going forward to age gracefully. It's not like Harden can't shoot or something. Like a lot of times, as you're aging, there's a lack of skill that makes it, makes your decline accelerate. His skill is there. I feel like it's his mentality. You can argue on some Westbrook type of field. Like Westbrook's mentality on top of his skill is what is making his decline more rapid. AI's mentality is what made his decline more rapid. Harden, to me, it's his mentality. Mm-hmm. If he so chooses to, delegate in a sense, let others do more, I believe that will extend his career longer than what his body or what his abilities will allow. I believe Harden, he's a weird guy, and when I say that, he's just so inconsistent, man. And I'm about to dive into
inconsistent as far as
as far as his play, bro, like even his like I'll give you an example. This has nothing to do with being on the court, but it speaks to your mentality on the court. After a game, he went up and ran stairs one day, like just he just did a little workout after the game, got some extra shots up, ran some stairs. Then sometimes after a postseason game, a regular season game, or what, he would go party after a loss.
Mm.
Go do your thing, go have fun, but it also lets us know where your head's at.
Yeah.
Just like you taking this pay cut lets us know where your head's at. You already talked about all the different assets he's had throughout the years based off of his greatness. Yes, he's great. I do disagree when you say he's one of the best scorers of all time. Yes,
I didn't say,
but
I mean, he's definitely in the top 75, right? They put him in the top 75 list, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, James Harden is a top 75 player. Yes,
Yeah.
But to put him creme de la creme scorer, I think he has a lot of flaws. Like, I feel like he needs to delegate more as he ages, because it's not that he can't shoot. It's that he chooses, back to mentality, he chooses to not shoot off ball. So now that in a sense,
But he can create his own. His game is the ability to create his own shot.
And for right, but
so that's why that's why when he played for Houston, Mike D'Antoni was able to, and Chris Paul kind of helped him out a little bit too by able to bring in that point guard mentality out of him, to where now he's the guy to facilitate. He's the guy to handle the ball. And I think that made his offensive game even better, because it gave him the opportunity to create more shots for himself. And that's his game.
CP3, you said CP3. Since CP3 was playing with him, that's when he developed more of the playmaking mentality.
I think Mike D'Antoni was the major factor to that, but also CP3 definitely assisted in that when he came, I think, the following year.
Right. So I do agree his playmaking did elevate his team, but in a direct way. I would like for my superstar to affect my team directly and indirectly. You don't need the ball in your hands all the time to affect the game in a positive way, especially as you're aging. He can't, off the dribble, he can't beat someone in the same fashion, sort of like Zeke. He can't explode in the same way. He's not scoring. I'm not saying he can't score. He's not scoring the same way. As the great scorers, the reason why I push back is because the great scorers, as they age more effortlessly. I haven't seen the transition for Ray Allen, for example, being able to catch and shoot. He went from an elite 3-level scorer to catch and shoot sniper. I'm not asking James Harden to do that, but I'm asking you.
But he's not the scorer that James Harden is. Ray Allen?
Ray Allen with the Seattle Supersonics, you can argue was a complete, all around complete better scorer than James Harden. Mid-range game, James Harden, you can argue, has none. You could argue James Harden has no mid-range.
It's slightly a different game.
It definitely is.
As James Harden developed the game, remember he played for that Houston team that, like, I think they broke the record for as many threes in a season as, or like it was some type of 3-point record that Houston had that year when they was just shooting the lights out. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. So his game developed at a different time. We're in that Steph Curry era where everyone is the basketball game is a 3-point game at this point.
Right, but even in that, the guys who win championships are mid-range assassins. Kevin Durant, mid-range assassin. Kawhi Leonard, mid-range assassin. If you go era by era, no matter the way the game is played, no matter if it's outside or inside, no matter if it's hand checking or not, the mid-range is the thing that unlocks an elite scorer. Imagine if Steph Curry had no mid-range. Curry can shoot just as well from 3-point as he can from the mid-range area. Kyrie, what makes him so special is his mid-range ability, post-game or not, face-up game or not, pull-up or not. That mid-range unlocks him. Harden isn't Dame. Harden isn't Kyrie. Harden isn't KD. There's a lot. And this is, we're talking about this era specific with the 3-point scoring. Now, but if he were to, let's say he had no mid range game still, and he just simply elected to uh, let Tyrese Maxey dominate the ball. Tobias Harris, he can affect Tobias Harris in a greater way if he doesn't take away from Tobias's usage rate, which he has done.
Who, James?
James, yes, he's
Because
so ball dominant.
he requires a very high usage rate.
Right. And I believe that doesn't help the team as much as it could. If you hinder us or cripple us on defense, on top of saying I want the ball in my hands, I need. Is it a difference between wanting the ball in your hands and needing the ball in your hands? James Harden and Russell Westbrook need the ball in their hands for them
Yes.
to be engaged and effective.
Yes.
Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, they're not reaching their full potential, and they're at the age I would, especially Tyrese, I would value his potential more so than James Harden's need for the ball.
Perfect. I get it. So as we're in this discussion right here, right?
Mhm.
Let's kind of get back on topic. So
For sure.
so his contract, because we're gonna have to get on this. I like where you're going. I like where you're going there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get in this. We're gonna have to get in that discussion where what do we look for in these superstar players? Because we're gonna have to really see what are
Heartbeat.
teams looking for in their superstar players. But to get
Mhm.
back kind of on topic here, as far as his contract and what is his future, what is he
Mhm.
lining up as far as is he planning on staying? Is he planning on going? Is he talking to maybe another superstar to bring them in? So that's why he's taking
Yes.
that pay cut. So he's like, oh man, I got KD right here. We might get him next year. We can't do it this year, but boom, we might be able to do something. What do you think in that area there is he planning? Or is he ready to win a championship?
I believe he's been ready to win the championship, but his mentality and how to get to his goal is changing because he sees the writing on the wall. Now that's why he's delegating it, asking for people to do more. Like you said, maybe another superstar come here, or Tyrese elevate your this, that, and the third. Or we know that we have to pay Tyrese in a couple of years. So if I'm staying here, which I think he is, I'm gonna have to take this pay cut now so that we can pay Tyrese later. Like those are the things that to me speaks to a different mentality with Harden as opposed to before.
All right.